I wanted to read the synopsis because the Natsukis, I think I've been calling her Natsuki, and it's like
you just kind of
Natsuki.
swallow the you.
Her story wiped my brain. So I like woof. Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching The Midnight Club, Season 1, Episode 8.
Road to Nowhere.
Was it just me?
What do you mean?
This one walloped me.
Yo, no, it was a lot.
Wallop.
Yeah.
I said it once before. I'll say it again and I'm not going to beat it, but American Horror Stories could never. This is all those times that I kept talking about. I wanted like an anthology season.
Yeah.
I am very impressed at how and like American Horror Story and stories, the fact that we're using the same cast is sort of a shortcut into caring.
Yeah.
Because it does get tedious starting over again. Like, because we frequently talk about pilot episodes are rarely good. There's exceptions, Lost, but rarely the best one. And so when you have these like shortcuts into caring about it, and the fact that they are all quasi-autobiographical, but it was a doozy.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it first or the plot?
Let's talk about the plot first, because there's so much less of it.
Ilonka's trying me. She's trying my patience.
She definitely has main character syndrome, where she's just like, you know, she's getting reprimanded and she's getting told she can't do stuff, and then she's like, I'm gonna do it harder.
I just would be more afraid of Dr. Stanton than they are.
I don't think they have any reason to be afraid
Fear
of
is
her.
a strange, but I would revere her more than they are.
Sure, I get that.
But I don't understand how she doesn't understand that what they're dealing with is sensitive. That, because Dr. Stanton's not even convinced. Someone potentially might be in remission. Is that the term?
Yeah.
Might be getting better. And Ilonka's like, we have a right to know. And it's like, she doesn't even know.
She's not even 100% sure.
You cannot play emotional tug of war with people like that, who are already deep in the throes of a game of emotional tug of war.
Yeah. The only more information we found out about that is that it is a girl. Yeah. So it's one of the girls for sure.
She's also pretty sure it's her, which again, I mean, probably, but...
So I had a theory...
Ilonka does have main character syndrome, and it's not the point that she is the main character.
Right.
You have a theory?
I had a theory. This episode, by the time the episode ended, that theory was moot. But I sort of thought that it was going to be Natsuki, but she was going to have killed herself. Yeah, but that didn't happen. That we know of, I guess.
that would have steered this into tragedy,
right? Yeah,
in a way that it hasn't quite.
It hasn't done that yet.
Tonally, I would have felt weird about that. But she's still convening with Shasta, who. Go ahead.
It's a cult. It's still a cult. It's 100% still a cult. Like, there's no question in my mind. They're doing experiments on their own bile. First of all, the 4 humors have been debunked centuries ago. Literal centuries ago.
I've heard that before. And when she was going over it, I was like, ooh, I'm fairly certain there's a bit more to it than that.
That's why they used to bleed people with leeches.
Too much blood. Gotta get those.
No, it's a no for me. But she's basically like, we want you to come here and stay with us, and maybe you can help us, because she keeps calling her Bright Girl, and she looks brighter, and she's like, there's something about her, but Dr. Stanton is like,
so is Ilonka magic, and she wants?
I don't know.
Shasta is very convinced that Dr. Stanton is hoarding magic, has something, and she never talks. Shasta never talks about Dr. Stanton like she's an outright villain, but it's very much like nemesis.
Yeah.
I mean, I threw down a Glinda and Elphaba, like a good witch, bad witch.
Yeah.
And they have that sort of dynamic between the two of them, considering we've never seen them interact. And does Dr. Stanton has she even acknowledged Shasta?
I don't think so.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's odd. There's something's not adding up.
Something's not right, for sure.
Spencer's plot was it was phenomenal.
It was good.
Actually. It's very good. My issue is I don't need this story anymore.
Well, sure, but the kids that this show is actually for could use this story.
I just
although, to be frank, we have reached a point with HIV and AIDS that it's very treatable at this point. So,
and also enough time has passed that people can genuinely forget or just not know.
Yeah.
But it's just, especially the Christians getting schooled on being Christian by non-Christians who are driven there by Christians. It's just a figure eight Ouroboros. I'm so exhausted. I mean, it can't stop being true, and I just feel like we're getting further away from it.
Yeah.
And again, this is coming from someone who sees a great deal of beauty in the concept of Christianity and Christ. But to quote, was it Gandhi? No, Gandhi, the Dalai Lama. Which one? Buddha. Which one was alive in the 80s or 90s?
Well, the Dalai Lama is a title. Gandhi was, I think, still
a wise man once said.
There you go.
Jesus, I like. I like your Jesus.
Yeah.
It's your Christians that I don't.
Sure.
And it's something that Mike Flanagan is fascinated by as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people, I don't think I said this on camera, but a lot of people think the takeaway is that Christianity bad, atheism good. And I don't see how anyone who watched Midnight Mass, if that was your takeaway, you weren't paying attention.
It's the zealotry that's bad. It's not necessarily the act of faith. It's the zealotry of it.
But just the way that Spencer confronted his mother, I just can't imagine. Well, I can because I've experienced it firsthand. But for your whole thing to be unconditional love, and then to be I've met people who love me unconditionally.
Yep.
And it's shocking and
how
in direct
different
contrast from what you're giving me.
100%. Also, she was watching something so hateful on TV that I can't even discuss. I really do. I'm with you about not necessarily us specifically, our generation, not quote unquote needing this story, but I can't stress enough how much I love that it's not his dad who's being an asshole.
It's nice.
I love that his black dad in the 90s doesn't care that or least
certainly doesn't have this issue.
Is not anti his gay son, his gay black son, and I'm it's
not as remarkable to me because my dad was the secular one and my mom was the more conservative one, but because frequently it's patriarchy.
Yeah.
We live in a society. But no, it was really good. And Spencer, I think I singled him out once before.
Chris Sumter.
Yeah, is particularly good.
Yeah.
Also, Rhett's pink Jeep, I see it and I raise it, Mark's purple car.
Yeah. Purple was a car color in the 90s, and that is something that we could bring back anytime.
So this is a thing, studies are being done, but we're losing color.
I hate it.
Hand over fist.
Yeah.
We're in a very monochromatic black, white, brown. It's partially driven by the earth, we're going to a more natural, we're bringing environment and stuff, which is good.
Sure. Yeah.
But we're if you look at car colors, it's upsetting.
Not a fan. It's, whose fault it is? Kim Kardashian and her stupid white house.
Yeah.
There's not even anything on the walls. It's so upsetting.
She actually, did you see she was talking very sweetly about Pete Davidson?
Oh, was she? Well, that's nice.
She was, because somebody said something about how he pulls all these hot girls, and she was well, he does, but she was the thing people don't realize or give him is she was he has a really amazing heart. She was he's very warm and
he's
very
sweet and funny, and he recognizes his flaws.
Yeah.
So
that was really, really very nice.
Yeah. But Dr. Stanton started locking the library doors. So they like weren't allowed to meet. And so instead the rest of them all went back to bed. Also, earlier in the episode, Natsuki had like really pushed Amesh away. And so
that's why you were thinking.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, oh God, it's gonna be her that got cured. And then they're gonna he's gonna end up finding her dead in her bedroom somehow. But that did not happen. And so basically after the library doors were locked and they all left, he went up the main stairs and she was coming down, which is I guess not the way they normally go. And she was like, I'm sorry about earlier and I have a story if you want to hear it. And then holy crap. Woof.
I wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
I was too emotionally plugged into the story. I wasn't on my toes.
Well, she made too much of a point of looking conspicuously at the items in the garage before she left.
She did, because that's what when the story started, I was there.
Yeah.
I was like, is she gonna pull out of the driveway?
Yeah.
But then when she did, I was so consumed by the creepy hitchhikers. But to my credit, they were from almost immediately, they were giving me Angel and Devil.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Even though they both were weird.
Yeah.
They were giving me.
The fact that he kept on telling her not to get out of the car, I was like, yeah, I was like, no, it's a no for me.
Henry Thomas.
Yeah.
He's odd. I'm surprised at how much I have enjoyed.
We should watch Legends of the Fall.
Okay.
He's in the beginning.
Okay. And then she wasn't on the IMDb yet, so I couldn't look her up, but she was.
This is Alex Essoe.
I wondered.
Yeah, we were wrong the first time. The other one was Katie Parker, and Katie Parker was Poppy Hill in Hill House. Yeah, we did. Pretty brown-haired ladies everywhere, Mike Flanagan. Come on. But thank you, Penny Gray 96 for that comment. So this is Alex Essoe. I looked it up. It's definitely her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was really very good.
Yeah. Well, because she was able to maintain the balance of creepy, but also benevolent, which is something that both the actress and Mike Flanagan specializes in. It just and the items in the garage, because she lingered on them, and the way that they came back into play, and it just sort of.
Well, it also kept every time that they passed the gas station, or every time that the loop started again, it got smoky, foggier, and I was like, yeah.
Well, and the first time she was just walking, and then she was corpsey or sick,
her eyes,
and then she was but so yeah, that was it. It was a metaphor for
depression.
Yeah, depression, suicide, and I guess trigger warning. Although if you're watching this show, you know that that's what we're dealing with, but. I really, really want to wax poetic, and there's just not a lot I can say. The only thing that I will say from a more personal place, I have never been suicidal. I've never actually been in a place where I was suicidal. I've pondered it, I've contemplated, what it would mean or what it would be like or what if, I've played that game. And the thing that I always kind of come back to is, and it's morbid, but I think it's true. It's you can only die once.
Yeah.
It's you can always put it off.
Sure.
But you can't undo it.
Yeah.
And so it's the kind of thing that it's sort of one option's final and the other's not.
Yeah.
And so it's you can always kill yourself tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's and that's kind of the morbid game that I kind of, it's you can always do it later, but you can't undo it if you made a mistake.
Yeah, I would say, I think that is, pondering it kind of idly is relatively normal, especially for teens. I think that's kind of something that a lot of, although who knows, maybe we are ill.
Well, but no, I mean, I've been in places where I've been well... To quote my friend Jen, I was really hoping that was it.
That could have been it.
I was prepared.
No, but I definitely do agree with that. And I also think for me, it was always if you reach the end of this, of Natsuki's story, where her mom found her in the garage. And so that was one of the biggest things that, again, not like, I wasn't like actively ever thinking about it, but I was like, oh my God, if that happened, my mom would find me. And I would be like, that would be horrible for my mom to find me doing that. And so that's always the kind of stuff that like would go through my head. I don't know who else had fantasies about cutting their stomachs off when they were in high school, because I did a lot. And like, you know,
it's a permanent solution to what is most likely a temporary problem. You know, I also, I was going to say I'm a little bit that one from, like, if there was like a asteroid heading towards Earth or a zombie apocalypse, I'll be one of the first ones to go. But that's a whole different conversation.
You are Taya Leone in Deep Impact.
Deep Impact.
100%. 100%.
Wander out into the beach.
I'm going to be the one who sort of like accidentally makes it all the way to the end, like through like the opposite of my intentions.
Oh, well, because there was also that statistic or that fact that I think is a fact. I think it's true, but it's like no one's ever survived and been like, damn. Yeah. Everyone's always glad
to have survived,
not made it. I don't know. I mean, it's an extremely, extremely, extremely heavy, deep, personal, complicated thing. Because I also do my best to reserve judgment, to not judge people, but it's tough. It's rough.
Well, it's also, it did that kind of like perfect thing where it's like she didn't succeed, and so she lived, and then she found out she had cancer, and she was like, and now I don't want to die, but
I'm dying.
It's happening anyway.
This time.
Yeah.
And just its placement from a storytelling, from a craft, its placement in the series. And because Natsuki,
2 episodes from the end,
she's the one that I was probably the least connected to.
Yeah.
And so to connect to her in this way was really very, I
liked it
a whole lot. And it did end with Ilonka going to the basement because she could hear.
Well, she couldn't sleep, and so she just went walking, and then she heard voices, and so she took the elevator down back to the basement, and she could see the hungry woman, and there was a flashlight left down there, and so she turned it on, and then she was like, you know what? Fuck you, bitch! And she was like, we're gonna do this once and for all, and she turned her around, and it was fucking Kevin.
Which this is the at least second time that's happened.
And he said, oh no, not again.
Because she went to confront the hungry woman in the library, and it was Kevin.
That's right.
So I can't even begin to imagine what that means.
Okay, Kevin cannot already be dead because he went to prom. he left and went to prom.
We didn't see it.
Well, did they all just mass hallucinate Catherine?
Catherine might. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I'm more befuddled by the notion that Kevin's this like gluttonous ghost
spirit,
woman, old lady. And what's with the dude in the mirror?
I don't know, darling. Blah.
Alex Essoe said darling.
Did she?
Uh-huh. Because I almost made a comment. I was almost like Gina Gershon over here.
Darling. Poppy Corn and Freedom Jack. Love it. Say less, Natsuki. I'm here. Say less.
Okay. I think that was that. Like I said, I wanted to, it hit me harder. We were silent.
Oh yeah, no, we were like, usually I'm popping jokes on the couch, and it was really
or
good.
even like putting on like a show, but no, we were silent.
It was really good.
Okay, we'll be back for episode
9.
Woo.
Bye.